Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Mental Health Awareness Initiative. And today we have Mr. Brendon Masciel from Mumbai. He is an empowerment coach. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Hina. Thank you for having me as part of your show. I enjoy listening to the work that you're doing. I've heard your podcast, and it's really good to see you working and trying to create an awareness in the mental health space.
Thanks a
For
lot.
all of you listeners, for all of you listeners out there, a brief about me. Yes, I'm an empowerment coach, as Hina introduced me, but I'm also an enthusiastic educational professional, and I firmly believe that we are all a mixture of strength and weaknesses. Okay, in my 18 years of professional experience in the field of education, I've dealt with students, parents, teachers, and various other people. And I realize how important it is for each of us to spend some time talking to ourselves, because that is the talk we do maximum. So let's begin with this.
That's amazing work that you yourself are doing, sir. And thanks for accepting the invitation. Would like to know more about, the empowerment part. And you have rightly said we do have our own strengths and weaknesses. But how then to, encapsulate the strength part, especially during this time?
I understand we have all been going through this difficult phase for the last year or so now, and it's almost become routine in life. We all need to remember that if we're looking at getting through this, one, we need to understand ourselves. We need to spend time with ourselves, spend time uncovering who we really are. Because we need to remember that every single imperfection that we have only adds to our strength. That's why we say imperfect, which is also I am perfect. The
Very true.
problem we're going, the problem we're going through all this, Hina, is because we try to copy each other. We forget that there is no one size fit all in the approach to life, because each of us comes from a different experience, different education, and from a different background. And hence, what is more important, as I believe as an empowerment coach, is to have a can do attitude.
I think that's an interesting attitude.
Yeah, so I'll throw some light on what I mean by a can do attitude. Now, when I say a can do attitude, I'm looking at having an attitude that we are enabled, that enables us to be ready to experience things. Usually, what we do is the moment we are faced with a situation or a concern, we begin to question our abilities. We begin to doubt ourselves. That is what we need to work at. Because we need to remember that only when we go through something will we realize whether we can do it or no. As I said, we are all a mixture of strength and weaknesses. There is no one here that can do everything, and there is no one here that cannot do anything. It all depends rightly on our willingness to get involved. If we are not willing to do it, there will be no results, and that is what creates the unwanted stress. I hope you agree with that.
Absolutely. That is very true.
So, Hina, in order to build the can do attitude, I look at first beginning by exploring and finding the answer to who am I. I think something that we all need to spend time with is finding out who we are really. It is only when we uncover our true potential, understand the good, the bad, and the ugly within us, will we be able to face situations. Because once we accept ourselves truly and completely, we can look at things in a new light, which will definitely give us a powerful perspective to move forward in life and to change our focus from decline to success.
So when you are talking about, finding oneself and exploring, does it include another tangent like one needs to be also resilient, or let's say, be in the moment so that you can bounce back and move ahead in life? What do you
Yes,
suggest?
absolutely. In fact, resilience is something that we all need. And if you go by it, we all have it. It's only that we don't know it till the time we get into that situation, till the time we are not in those difficult waters. Look at us. Haven't we
Well,
all faced situations in life? You know, we've all
true.
faced a fall, a stumble. We failed certain exams. We failed certain situations. All these things, and we have come out from there. That's why resilience is something that we need. Look at what we started off a year back. When we went into a lockdown last year, we thought we would not survive, but we survived a year. We came back, and now we are back in another situation. We feel we'll not get through this, but somewhere we know we'll get through it. And if you're honestly asking me, I have a very simple solution for resilience. Would you like to know that?
Very eager to know it.
Okay, so I have this very simple rule that I follow and I even proclaim. It's something that I read some time back and it stuck with me. As resilience is all about coming back, I have an acronym for bounce back. Okay, bounce back, B. We all need to remember that bad times will not last and things will get better. As we all know, even in nature, night turns into the day, darkness gives its way to light. So bad times will go. It's how long you hold on to it. Oh, other people will only help us if we share our problems with them. If we seek help, only then will we get help. If we don't seek help, nobody is going to know about it. Nobody is going to know about our situation. So if we really want to come out of our situation, we need to seek. You, unhelpful thinking, negative thinking, brooding over the past, only thinking about the bad and the weaknesses we have is only going to make things worse. And nobody is perfect. Not you, not I, not our listeners, not our friends, not our family, not anyone. Each of us has our own flaws. In the race of life, it's how we cover up, how we use our strengths is what matters. See, concentrate on the good things in life, no matter how small. Spend time enjoying those things. By that, I don't mean that you don't feel bad, but you also don't need to stay feeling bad. There are good things that happen on a daily basis in our lives. And I think the biggest good thing is for us in this point of time is that we are hale and hearty. We have good health. And E in bounds is everybody suffers. There's pain, there's experience, and everybody experiences setbacks. They're normal part of life. So we need to remember that. And when we come to back, we need to remember that if we are blaming someone for something, we need to blame fairly. As negative events or anything wrong that happens to us is a mixture of two things we did, things somebody else did. And also, we don't forget luck. A, accept what you can change and what you can't change. There are quite a lot of things you and I can't do. We need to accept it. It's only when we deny that and we try to reject the things is when the turmoil comes. See, catastrophizing or making things will make things worse. Don't blow things out of proportion. And keep things in perspective. Everything needs to be looked at from a different point of view. Look at it from a third person. Even the worst moment is one of the moments in life that will teach you something. That's what I believe is the best way to come back, is bounce back.
This is really interesting acronym that you have explained from your perspective. And it's really beautiful because everything is interconnected. And since we as human beings are, interconnected in all the ways, like emotionally, physically, mentally, situationally also, and we need to then remember this as much as possible because it will let us live in the moment and
Definitely.
appreciate that moment. And actually, when you had spoken about the acceptance part, wherein you were saying, okay, if you will accept what you can't change and what you can change, and then move ahead towards what you can do so that you can live the moment and keep things in perspective. That is wonderful. And I'm really glad, to have another bounce back, let's say a reminder for myself, and I'm sure the listeners will also benefit out of it. Just
Right.
quickly stepping in over here, when you had spoken about the turmoil part, when you said if you'll not accept, then only we start, realizing or move ahead towards the turmoil part.
Yeah.
Could you just briefly touch upon that so that we can move ahead then?
Yes. Definitely. So when we talk about turmoil, currently, if you look at all of us, we're going through situations. There are people blaming, there are people saying things, there are a lot of things happening. But there is also certain things that we can't change given the current situation. There are certain things that we can change. So it's up to us. Now, the moment we don't accept the things that we can't change is when turmoil is going to set in. What is turmoil basically, Hina? If I have to ask you, how would you say what is turmoil?
Something which we just blew out of proportion, as you just mentioned some time back, and
Really?
then go to that loop.
Ex- exactly. If you understand, turmoil is all about getting out of our comfort zone, getting out of our routine, dealing with a change, with a chaos or uncertainty, right? And that's why we are all in turmoil now. We were in a routine, and now that is changing again. We are told to stay indoors, which is something that is not acceptable to us. That is causing us to get frustrated. But why do we forget that we live in a dynamic world and change is going to happen? It is inevitable. And the best way to deal with it, as for me, is by being me. And I give you another acronym. Be, be aware of everything that is happening in the current situation, in the current moment. You are not living in the past, you're not living in the future, you're living in the present. Understand what you have in your resources now. That is what is important. The awareness is key. Engage. Engage in healthy conversations. Engage in work that you love doing. Engage in things that will keep you busy, that will keep your mind occupied. I identify. Identify the stressors. Identify those things that trigger you. Currently, social media and media for itself has a lot of negativity. You decide what you want to take from it, and you decide what you don't want to take from it. N is no. Learn to say no when you can't do something. When you think it's out of your reach, it's okay. Nobody is going to hang us if we say the word no. G is gratitude. Be thankful. As I say, every morning, every night, I think it's time to say thank you. Thank you to the universe, the power that is there for providing us. Thank you to God for giving us another day that we spent hale and hearty when there's so much of sickness all around. M. is being mindful, spending time with self, ensuring that you're taking care of yourself. And finally, E is empathizing, remembering that there are others around us who are also going through a lot at this point of time. Rather than blaming and trying to put somebody down, it's having an understanding of what is going through and being realistic in our approach.
It's like I am now taking away from this session that we are having right now, a discussion, that if I'm being me, I can bounce back without any hesitation.
Definitely. So I think we can very clearly, as you said, we need to be me in order to bounce back. But we need to remember that each of us is imperfect, and in our own way, we are perfect. Tell me.
Okay, in the last 1 year in this pandemic, have you personally experienced something which was challenging for you, and how did you cope?
Okay, I think I was hit. If you honestly ask me, I was hit by the pandemic the most because I ventured on my own in October 2019 into the mental health and skill enhancement domain. By the time I could set foot and get a feel of the industry and the environment around me, it was time for pandemic to hit. And because I was looking at working on in the mental health space and doing a lot of workshop with schools and colleges and for students and all that, because of the way things went last year, my whole plan was topsy turvy. And there was time where I was wondering, did I even take the right decision of quitting a stable job and now not having anything on hand? But I think the whole journey of the last 1 year made me realize that we are all self sufficient. We need to realize what we want in life. If I'm okay with what I'm doing and I'm not comparing self to someone, I am definitely happy. And
Absolutely.
that's something I think I learned through the last year. And I have to people I interacted with in the last year, whether professionally or personally, I think that is something that has given me great power to realize that I survived a period of turmoil and uncertainty without breaking down. I knew what were my strengths.
So then it means that in last year, sir, then you have actually consolidated upon your own strengths and worked out your way with your own canned to attitude.
Yes, absolutely. I worked my own way through the can do attitude and I bounced back, being me. Absolutely.
That is really worth listening. And these acronyms will again help people when they are feeling low and when they feel that they have some imperfection or they don't have the capacity to move ahead in life because of the current circumstances. I'm sure this will be an eye opener for many young people who are definitely going through a tough phase since they have so much of dreams, enthusiasm, energy. So that is come to an halt right now. So before we wind up, one quick suggestion for our listeners.
One quick suggestion for everybody is to remember that we all need to be ourselves and be aware, I would say. Just remember that awareness is key to get out of any situation, to get out of any anxiousness, anxiety, stress that we feel. It's only that we need to be aware and especially of the talk we are having with ourselves, as because that is something that we do a lot and we don't pay attention to.
Okay. With that positive note that we need to be aware about ourselves, of our own circumstances, and be very practical about things in life, connecting with every dot that is mentioned by Sir today, all the acronym letters of bounce back and being me. If you can write it down on paper and keep a reminder for yourself, maybe on your mobile phone, you can just write down and make a wallpaper for few days and go back to it whenever you are feeling low. You will definitely feel empowered because you are listening to our empowerment coach from Mumbai. Thanks a lot for your time, sir.
Thank you, Hina. Thank you for having me on. And it was a pleasure interacting with everyone. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. With that note, we end the episode. See you tomorrow, same time, with another guest with their perspective about mental health and ways to cope up in this scenario. Till then, take care, be safe. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Be safe. Take care.